I will call the March 13th, 2025 Licensing, Hearings, and Public Safety Committee to order. We'll do roll call. Alder Peterson. Here. Alder Perella.
Here.
Alder Heidemann.
Here.
Alder Lefebvre is excused, and Alder Rust is present. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, we all know each other, I feel like. Alrighty, I'm looking for approval of minutes from the February 26th meeting.
So approved.
Second.
All in favor of approving those minutes, state aye.
Aye. Chair
votes aye, those are approved. Alrighty. Item number 6, General Ordinance 39-24-25. That is a direct referral, an ordinance amending Chapter 58 of the Sheboygan Municipal Code to allow more forms of pedal cabs that can be licensed to carry passengers in the city. City Attorney.
Yeah, so I've given you a little bit of information about this, but this actually came up because there was a desire by the current commercial quadricycle operator in the city to have pedal assist. And the state statute very clearly does not allow any pedal assist on commercial quadricycles in their definition. But there is in the statute additional definitions for different types of e-bikes. So in order to allow this, what we've done is created what I would say is just a wider category of pedal cabs. That it'll include the commercial quadricycles, it'll include commercial quadricycle-like vehicles, but with pedal assist. It could also include things like rickshaws and things like that are, for somebody wants to pedal people around for pay, that would be possible with this as well. The rules are generally all the same. The safety rules remain the same. The requirement of lights and brakes and the inspections and things like that would remain. There would still be the same system of sort of a 3-level licensing scheme where the business has a license, the operator, the one who's actually pedaling the machine or doing most of the pedaling, would also be licensed, and the vehicle itself would also be licensed. And then finally, I think the only other thing that probably is important to know is we stuck with the definition for the e-bikes in I forget what class it is, but the slowest class of e-bikes, class 1, thanks, in the state statute, and used that definition. We did that for a couple of reasons. One is we were concerned that if we simply added pedal assist to the commercial quadricycles, that we would have a preemption problem with the state, because realistically we would be just kind of going against the state statute. But also, we wanted to just make sure that we're following a standard. These will, what happens with Class 1 e-bikes is the assist only works while you're pedaling, and at 20 miles per hour, it shuts off. So there's going to be no assist to allow you to go any faster than that. The current operator of Sheboygan indicates that his particular vehicles will stop off at 10 miles per hour. So he's not even going to go to the full power he can use.
All right.
I can answer any questions if you have any.
Yep. Any questions? Alder Perella?
Yeah, my question was exactly that. How did you come up with those 20 miles per hour and so on? So that's the reason, basically, because you are going to, we want to be complying with the basic version of the e-bike standard. That's what you said, right?
Right. We're using that statute as the basis. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Alder Heidemann.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Okay, so this is the pedal bike that goes around where people can have drinks on, and they can drive all over town. Okay.
Well, not all over town.
There's an exact route. Exactly. Yeah. So evidently there must be too many hills or something that they need a motor to get up and down, and
I think that was the desire anyway. I don't know if it's a huge problem, but I know the operator operates in a few other communities as well, and he felt that this would be a helpful thing.
Okay, and you're saying that if it gets over 10 miles an hour, it shuts off?
In his bikes, on his quadricycle, the way he's going to set it up, it would shut off the electric assist at 10. The ordinance actually puts the limit at 20, but he's not going to go that fast.
Right, and that's fine. So since we're going to 20, do these people that are drinking at these tables, pedaling and riding around, do they need a special harness?
Yes.
Do they need helmets?
They don't need helmets. That's not required, but they are required to have a harness. That is part of the requirement for these pedal cabs. Yes. Okay,
and and most of these people that are on this vehicle, they're all sober.
I can't speak to whether they are or not. The operator, the one who is primarily responsible, must be. And is not allowed to drink while operating it. The other folks may have been drinking at whatever tavern they were and are able to transport alcohol to the next stop.
Right. Well, and they're able to go into a tavern and take alcohol out and bring it to there, right? Or it doesn't have to be sold on the pedal thing.
No, in fact, it's not sold on the pedal bike. That's not part of we don't allow that. It has to be sold at a local establishment, and then the local establishment has to follow the rules that provide, for off-sale sales, so it has to be in a sealed container, those kinds of things.
And those people that are getting these drinks in the bar, they're being monitored by the bartenders, so they're not over-serving.
Well, they should be, and if they're not, certainly the bar can be cited for over-serving.
Well, I guess my concern is I have a problem with people being on a motorized vehicle, drunk, sitting at a table, and so they have a harness. I don't know if this harness prevents them from completely falling off, and to make sure the harness is on.
Yeah, so the harness requirement, which is already in the code, so I don't remember the exact details, but the harness requirement, when this was passed a number of years ago, originally was designed, we looked at what other communities were doing, what safety standards there are. We also looked around the rest of the country as well. So it is, the way that it's written, it should prevent people from just falling off the harness. You can't, if somebody decides to take off their harness in the middle and then they fall off, you can't fix stupid, but.
Does this actually, I'm sorry to keep going, Tim.
The only thing I was going to say, Alder Hyman, was this is kind of similar to, this is still safer because you're only going 20 miles an hour than somebody who had 3 beers at a bar and then gets on a motorcycle with no harness.
Right.
And that's my only comment.
No,
you can keep going. You may keep going.
I guess, so does this open up the door for anybody else to have a tavern that has a table that they can ride around on? And and we say, well, now I can run this because I can put a motor on this. Is the size of the vehicle and the size of the operation, is that in the ordinance saying that you can't have anything smaller than this?
You can have smaller, so you can have if somebody wanted to have a rickshaw type thing where, you've got somebody up front and 2 seats in back and they're bringing somebody from one place to another, that would be legal. So people could create other types of pedal cab businesses. They'd still have to follow all the regulations, so they still have to be road safe. They still have to follow all the various requirements about harnesses and the other safety factors, the lights and the signals and those kinds of things. So it's not going to be as simple as somebody just creates goes down in their basement and nails 4 wheels together and puts a board and a table. That won't work.
Put a bunch of round seats and
it still has to also fit that definition of an e-bike, in the statute. If you go outside of that, you're going to have one of two problems. Either it's going to be an unlicensed motorized vehicle because it goes faster or those kinds of things, and that would be a problem. Or if it doesn't meet the various safety standards, then it would be also an illegal vehicle and would not get to be licensed.
Well, I don't think I could see a motorized rickshaw. Because the guy pulling it, if the motor goes on, he's flying down the street at the same time.
Well, it would be like the e-bike, right, where it's an electric assist motor.
Actually, I've never been on one.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to get on one. It's just not something I want to do. Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you, Chuck.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? Somebody, Brian?
Hi, my name is Brian Kelly. My biggest concern with the definition provided in this amendment is it's not clear 100% that this is for only commercial vehicles. There are three-wheeled, sometimes electric assist, bikes that might have 3 or 4 wheels that would be privately owned, not necessarily a business. These are like recumbent bikes, things like that, where people who might not be physically able to be on a two-wheeled bicycle could operate those. I see a lot of these on our critical mass rides for people that, they can't quite, typically older or maybe somebody with an injury, they can't get on a two-wheeled bicycle safely. I'm just worried that this language here isn't clear enough that this is just for commercial in that definition that it has on, I think it was page 6 of the agenda packet.
And I'm happy to speak to that. So this is really a licensing scheme. And so what we're doing is we're licensing vehicles that are being used for commercial purposes, and it does say that in the ordinance, that meet these requirements. So this really does not cover a vehicle or a bicycle or a three-wheel bike that is not being used for commercial purposes. That they just have to follow whatever rules already exist for those kinds of things. And for those, there typically are, there are bicycle rules, there are the electric assist rules for the e-bikes, and those would still apply to those vehicles. This is really just to license them so that they can be used for commercial purposes, follow that route, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Thank you. Alrighty.
Thank you, Chair.
Alder Heitman.
One question on the route that this pedal bike uses. This is a standardized route. That's what he's had. The route's not actually in the ordinance either, right?
No, the route's not in the ordinance. That as part of the application, any business that wants to have one of these vehicles must include the route, and that route must be approved by the chief of police or his designee, and that's the way it's been. So the Sheboygan follows a particular route because that's one that's been approved. If some other competitor came in and wanted to do a different route, the police chief would look at it and determine whether it was an appropriate route. And they look at all sorts of things like, hills and traffic and that kind of thing.
That's what I would look at.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. Any other questions, comments? Alrighty, I'm looking for a motion.
Move to approve. Go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess
I guess I.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. That's approved. Alrighty, item number 7, resolution number 175-24-25, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into an intergovernmental memorandum of understanding with Sheboygan County for provision of EMS services to support SWAT activities. Assistant Chief.
Thank you, Alder Russ. So this is just an MOU. It's kind of just goes ahead and identifies the roles and responsibility of each agency. We already work, obviously, primarily with the Sheboygan Police Department through any high-risk situations, such as if they're doing warrants or they have some sort of a tactical situation. Many times the Sheboygan County Sheriff's Department also comes in and assists them, and our personnel might end up over with the County Sheriff's Department, or through some of our mutual aid agreements, we might end up working with the Sheriff's Department and not the PD. Essentially what this memorandum of understanding does is just kind of define the roles and responsibilities of each agency that make sure we're operating within our parameters. So, for example, like we're responsible for any EMS at a tactical situation with the County Sheriff's Department, no different than we would be with the Sheboygan Police Department, and then it kind of just defines our roles so we make sure that we're all operating where we should be, as well as within the incident command system as defined by NIMS. So really this isn't going to cost the city anything. We don't see it's going to affect our operations or anything like that. This is just kind of trying to formalize what we do with the Sheriff's Department so we're on the same page as we are with the Police Department. I'm willing to answer any questions that any of the alderpersons have.
All right, any questions? Alder Peterson?
Yeah, a couple questions. So have there been prior MOUs? Is this the first time this has ever happened, or we've done this before, right?
We have a few different MOUs. So for example, because the police department covers the hospital, for law enforcement, we have an MOU with Kohler, just stating that when we provide our tactical EMS to the police department that we're operated under the city and with the police department as well. We operate with the Sheriff's Department as far as like dive goes, so we have a dive MOU and stuff like that for when the dive team comes in or when we go out to assist the dive team. So it just kind of helps formalize that everybody stays in their lane and we know how we're all operating.
Okay, so this is the first time with the Sheboygan Fire Department and the SWAT team that this has been established then?
Yes.
As far as an MOU,
yep,
that's what I was asking. I was just
so
curious if there had been any changes from prior, but this is kind of a novel document then?
Yeah, so just because we've been working with them closer, just as we have with the PD over the last probably 8 to 10 years, we want to try to formalize this, and they were happy with how we respond with the PD, so they wanted us to assist them with their tactical EMS as well, so we're just trying to make sure it's all formalized here.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions? Comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that's approved. Alrighty, item number 8.
Thank you.
Thank you. RO number 119-24-25 by the city clerk submitting a liquor license application.
This is a Class B beer license for La Quinta, and staff is recommending granting this application.
All right, any questions? Alder Perella.
So this is new, right? This is a new license.
It's a new license, but it's a beer license, so there's no quota.
Right, right. But this is the first time that La Quinta Inn gets a license.
That is my understanding, yes.
So there is a bar available. Do you know if that bar includes other things? Like other entertainment of some sort?
They might be selling beer at their front desk too.
Yeah, or they could have it in the fridges in certain of the rooms. I don't know how they're doing it, but they do have to be licensed in order to sell beer at the hotel.
I was just wondering if this is a situation in which open to the public, that people can go and maybe there will be gaming machines, slot machines, things that people can go there, or if it is just for the use of the inn.
I have my doubts that there's sort of a public-facing bar. I think it is primarily for the people who stay there. I've been in that building sometime in the last year or so because my mother-in-law stayed there, and I don't recall there being that much space in the lobby for. Okay. I suspect Alder Rust is right. They're probably just selling it off out at the desk, or maybe they're including it in some in the fridges in the rooms or something like that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, that's approved. All right, our next meeting date will be March 26, 2025. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, we're adjourned at 4:48. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too. See you later.